Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the stream. It is Saturday night, which means it is Canadian Starships live stream night. So let's deal with some housekeeping duties first. Can you see me? Can you hear me? And of course, if you are here, leave a comment in the comment section so that I know that you are here. I already know that Ken is here. He says, good evening, everyone. And Ken also says, I can see you and I can hear you. That is also awesome. Skull is also here. So as far as I know, only Ken and Skull are here in the video. Although I know that there are 5 people watching, I can see it up on my screen. So I know there's more of you here than just the 2, but welcome everybody to the stream. Tonight we are going to just be working on some Enterprises, some Enterprise E work, some Enterprise D work. We'll see how it goes. Of course, I mean, working on. You never know how much work's actually going to get done on a live stream, but here we are. We're going to get some work done. I have my tea Earl Grey hot here in my, oh, let's turn that around. In my Spockified Science Department mug. There we go. Good evening, Trek Mods. How are you doing tonight? It looks like you've got a caps lock on or something like that. All right, I will start off the night by showing you what's been done on the Enterprise E-Paint work. I'm hoping to maybe get some work done on installing the extra armature bits into the pylons. We'll see how that goes, and we'll get done whatever we happen to get done. Of course, more important is the conversation that happens on the stream. That's obviously kind of the more interesting part about live streams on a Saturday night. So I'm going to pull the, actually, before I do that, give me 1 second because my camera, my bench camera, is reversed for some reason. And it's never reversed. So I'm going to see if I can change that in my software here. Give me 1 moment. That doesn't do it. That doesn't do it. Interesting. Oh, here we go. So I found a mirror option, which mirrors it, but it just fixes it. So there we go. It would just drive me nuts if my desk was not showing the way it actually is showing. So let me test and make sure that that is functioning properly. Here's my desk. Here's my right hand. Here's my left hand. My tea Earl Grey hot is over here. And that is all working properly. Awesome. I can put my face in the top corner here. Right here. All right, perfect. We are good to go. Jet is here and he says that he's listening while editing. All right, well, thank you for joining the stream. I will try to make sure that there are not too many quiet spots during the stream because that makes it very difficult to watch if you are just kind of watching it as a secondary item. So we are here in 2025, first live stream of 2025. That is awesome. I just got my old, I don't know where it is, but I just got the old Star Trek calendar, Ships of the Line calendar off today. I got the new one on. I mean, I've had it since August or something silly like that, but just got it up there today. Although I don't like the packaging or the lack thereof. They've made it where it extends and flaps over, and so that it's plasticless packing, but then it makes it really hard to display the calendar without chopping it off. So I've done my best. It's not laying flat on the wall or anything like that right now, but I might have to do a few more adjustments. I wish that they would kind of go back to the way that they used to do it. Jet says no co-host. Well, no co-host at the moment. We'll see who happens to come along this evening. You need a straight man, yeah? I am not Mr. Bean. I would more be the straight man to his to the Mr. Bean, but I understand what you are saying. All right. Okay, let me go pull the Enterprise E over and I'll show you the progress. Now, if you were on the HTM stream last night, you've already seen this. That's fine, but you're going to see it. Here's a little bit of progress on the 1400 scale Enterprise E. Let me just zoomy. Oh, too close. There we go. Here's a look at how that Aztecing work is coming along so far. And I've had to do a combination. I can put my my face cam back on here. I've done a combination of the masking set and my own mask work. And if you've been around, you understand the reasons why. One, I'm having a terrible time with the pinstriping on the masking set, so I'm sure it's an end user issue. I'm sure it's just a skill issue on my side, but I'm struggling to get those down to go right. If they don't, apparently I can't talk to Nate. If I can't get them to go down right the very first time they touch the surface of the model, it's game over as far as those pinstripes are concerned. It just becomes a spaghetti mess. So I'm having some trouble with that. I think if they were cut in a transparent vinyl, it would be so much easier to place. So that would be my takeaway on this, that if the pinstriped sections were printed or cut, I should say, it's like a printer. The cutter's like a printer, right? Instead it cuts instead of prints. But if it was done in transparent vinyl, it would be so much easier to place. And I think that you'd get far less spaghetti opportunities. But the other reason why I'm doing some of my own masking, so you can see the masking happening here, is because I try to make it as close to the studio model as I can. And there are some things that you may not be able to accomplish using the masking set if you want it to look like the studio model. And because I've thought through how I might use the masking set to get some of these things done. Specifically, where is my pointing tool? Let's just grab a coffee stir stick for now. So this area in here, and this area here, those are all multi-tone Aztec panels. Well, you can quite clearly see there is the lighter color, and then there is the gray, the darker gray. I'm not sure how you would accomplish that using the masking set. And I want to get this as close as possible as this kit can be to what the studio model looks like. That's what I'm trying to do for my clients. So there's times where I just have to abandon the masking set in order to accomplish that. But I think that's turning out really well. So there are the multicolored Aztec patterns going on here. And the shapes on this section, especially in the middle, are a little bit different than the shapes on the masking sets. They are more elongated Aztec shapes that are in here. So I've tried to reproduce that as much as possible. Let's see. Jet says, did you notice the slight omission on the left side? At the 10 o'clock position. Orientation being, are you talking on the left side of the ship if you're looking down at the ship from above facing forward? Looks like the straight line is missing a bit. Yeah. So if you're looking, say, right here and here, yeah, that's where it joined up and didn't quite cover properly. There are some areas where I will likely go back with tape and do some touch-ups. That's just par for the course. There are some areas where it won't quite be what I want it to be, and I will go back and I will do some touch-ups. So that stuff will be taken care of. At the angle, Skull says, I don't see it. Jet says, no, at the back. Okay, we'll have to play a little game of warmer or colder, because I'm not sure where you're talking. So I'm going to start here. Do I go port side, starboard, aft, or forward from here? Where do I go from here? Dash says, Dash says that one strip on your blue tape needs to be moved a little bit forward. Again, I'm not sure which you're talking about. Go left. So by left, you mean this way? Left on screen? Go back a little. Aft starboard. Back this way. At the intersection. I'm going to get a better pointer. Here's what I prefer to use as a pointer tool. Okay, because I'm going to put this right on the ship. So first of all, are you talking about on the area that's already painted, or are you talking on the mast section here? At the where they are mirrored. Danny's here. He says he means the row of smaller windows in the middle when following the circle at the end of that. Okay. I'm not sure what you mean, Danny. The very blue tape. Okay, so I'm on the blue tape. I'm gonna move my mouse into my other hand so I can do this. Okay, so I'm here. It's the blue tape. Okay. It's the blue tape. Okay. Forward or backwards? Dash thinks that he and Jet are looking at the same place. Dash says aft. Okay, so there's the blank spot between these two pieces of tape. So I'm going to go about halfway down the blank spot. Am I warm or cold? The back end where they're mirrored, right here. Further back. So there's no tape back here. Go to the right. Right there. So what's the problem right here? What am I not seeing? Just a moment, please. Just a moment. Please stand by. Please stand by. Please stand by. Please stand by. Stand by, please. I just need to check something here. Okay. Just had to check something there. Please remember that this channel is E for everyone. Okay. I saw something come through on StreamYards, but it didn't come through on YouTube. So, Jet is asking everyone to stop. It is on the left side of the center strip. left side of the center strip. Let's zoom in a little bit more. Bring this section in so everybody can see. All right, so we've got the location back here, but what is the problem? Because I'm just not seeing the problem. So what is the problem? I had my pointer on it. Let's see. Buck is here. Hello, Buck. Thank you for joining me. Blair is here. Blair wants to see the supports going into the pylons on the Enterprise D, probably. Okay, it is you are reversed, I guess. I mean, it's looking right. Let me go back to YouTube. No, it's looking right on YouTube. So I'm not reversed. The other one. Okay, let's go to this one. The other one. Okay. We're narrowing it down. Buck says he just did the unboxing for the next build on his channel. Very nice. The other left. And Blair says, heck yes, I do. Okay, awesome. Yeah, we're going to look at that. But we just want, I'm showing progress on the Enterprise E paint job, but there's something that they are trying to point out to me. It's right there. So anything, okay, so anything that is in the blue tape or outside doesn't have to be worried about because that's not being painted. It's only anything on the inside of the blue here that's being painted. And the blue tape is overlapping. These are actually white vinyl masks. I used white vinyl just because I've got more of it right now. These are masking off where the escape pod decals are going to go. But let's see. Ken says, are you talking about the notch in the center line? Because if you're talking about like the triangular shape here, that doesn't matter. That does not matter. No, Chet, no, that's fine. I would rather you see something and point it out and we try to find it, because if I'm actually not seeing something, then I would prefer that everybody point it out to me. So, yeah, if that's what you're referring to, don't worry about it. That's actually not a problem. So let's back out here, and now let's back out a little bit more. Back out just a little bit more. There you go. So this is the progress. Let's see. Buck says, knowing it is just this inside, it looks good to me. And then Dash says, oh, then it's fine then what I saw too. Okay, no problem. Well, you don't know what I'm doing necessarily. I haven't really explained how I'm doing the masking. I'm just kind of showing it off at the moment. So that's perfectly fine. And please don't leave my stream. I need the views. Okay, so you know what, Jet? That is a Ferengi rule of acquisition. I'm not sure the number off the top of my head, but it is a Ferengi rule of acquisition. So it's perfectly fine. Okay. Buck says, I wasn't hired for my typing. Yeah, that's fine. Derek says, one of my favorite models. Love the E model. Looking good. Well, thank you. It's after working on the large scaler, making up words again, the larger scale kits, working on the smaller kits again is kind of interesting. But I've got to say, at some point I will do the paint job, do this paint job on the 650 scale Enterprise E, which will be really fun to do. Let's see. Jet says, it was bothering me all night. I couldn't sleep when I saw it on HTM and he didn't seem to notice. Yeah, that's all going to be covered because I need to paint the gray on the inside of the wider blue tape. So the rest of it is going to be masked off for overspray, right? So I'm going to paint this a kind of medium gray, I think, and then that'll all come off. It'll dry, and then I'm going to do the rest of the masking. I'm going to try to do the rest of the masking back here on these panels with the masking set, but just because it didn't give the allowance for the escape pods, and I'd rather the base color be under the escape pods if possible. They are professional decals that go on these, but I would still prefer it being a lighter color underneath if at all possible. So, all right, Jet, you are fine. You are perfectly fine. Like I said, I would rather somebody try to point out something to me than people knowing about something and not telling me, and then I missed something and I've got to go back and fix something. So if in doubt, point it out, right? So yeah, so that's where we're at with the Enterprise E. We'll try to get possibly some work done on it tonight. I do need to get some gray spray down into here before I do too much else with masking, but we might be able to work on a different section or something like that. But we'll just see as the night goes how much is going to get done. All right, let's move on to the pylons for the Enterprise D. So give me one moment to reset here. So Blair, I'm not sure if you've seen this yet or not, but here is the metal piece, the aluminum piece that is going into your pylons. And the metal piece here will be physically attached to the metal armature in the rest of the secondary hull. I've marked this off as far as what we need to remove. And I've looked at a couple different options for removing the material, and I think I'm just going to have to Dremel it out. I think that's going to be the best option. Let's see. Let's catch up on chat here. Wait, you mean like Todd telling Donnie his port starboard lights were reversed, or me telling Jordan that his nacelles were on the wrong sides of the runabout? Yeah, you'd rather know ahead of time. As you would rather know as early on in the process as possible that you had an oversight than not know and end up having to do a major fix job later, right? All right then. So this is an aluminum piece. It has been shaped to match. Now there will be some adjustments, but this has been shaped to match the curvature of the part. Now, if I lay this down this way, you'll see that the ends don't match up. But here's the thing: this is much longer up here than it needs to be, so we're not worried too much about that part of it. So if you're curious, if you didn't see this previously, here's the nice maple. I think it's maple, but the maple block that was used to shape this on. And so this piece pretty much sits perfectly in here. And then Please stand by. We've had some technical difficulties. My computer shut down. I don't know what happened there. Hopefully you can hear me right now. I'm hoping you can hear me. I'm just restarting my streaming software. Can you hear me? Can everybody hear me? Can you hear me? I need to know if you can hear me. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Whoo! Okay, that was weird. My computer just shut down. But that's a benefit of using Streamlabs. Streamlabs? Wow. So that is a benefit of using StreamYards, because StreamYards kept my stream going. And even though everything failed on my end, from the computer standpoint, StreamYards kept the stream open. It didn't crash the stream on YouTube, whereas if I was using streaming software based on my computer, it would have lost the connection to YouTube, and it would have ended this, crashed the stream, and I would have had to start a brand new stream. That is good to know. That is so good to know. Let's see. Let's see where I left off. Buck said, it's more fun to watch them struggle to fix them. Just kidding. Blair said, gonna be strong. I like. Back to shop Monday. We'll update on Elcar's printing soon. Awesome. We'll want to get the base measurements, dimensions, basically everything that we need in order to get the wooden base portion of it made, figured out so that I can have that made. I've got that all lined up. We just need to get the design and measurements and everything for that. Jet says, uh-oh, I'm assuming that's when everything went dark. Buck says, uh-oh, it appears Canada has been hit by an ice age. You're frozen. And Ken says, okay, good, not just me. Oh, great. Do we have to go through that whole thing all over again now from the beginning? Nope. Please stand by. Standing by and hearing you, Andrew. Coming through 5x5. Roger. Let's see. Ken says, I can hear you. Danny says, yeah. Blair says, back online. Buck says, hey, it's Jordan. Andrew. Yeah. So, okay. I have no idea. Although I do know my docking station, because I'm running everything from a laptop because I want to be, I like being portable, and I just need to bring you guys this way ever so slightly. There we go. That's better. I like being portable, especially to being able to do video editing portably, right? So I've got everything on a laptop, which means I'm running a docking station, and I do know the docking station has issues. So I'm wondering if the docking station was not, but that makes no sense. My battery is 99%. So it was not a power supply issue. That's scarier, because that tells me that it could be something wrong with the computer and not, I was thinking it was going to be something wrong with the docking station, but that tells me that there's something wrong with the computer. And I don't like that. I do not like that. But we are back up and running, which is, whoa, hold on. I just saw red. Dash said, we need to talk about the wrong way Enterprise, the wrong way E with the blue pinstriping for the alternate universe, new internet, and Tesla gas for Wonderfest. Dash, that is incredible. Thank you so much. Definitely not anything I'm looking for on my streams, but thank you so much. That is quite incredible. I really do. I appreciate that. I hope that you're enjoying the streams. Let's see. James, welcome to the stream, James. James says overheating can shut down a computer. Yeah, It's not warm. It's not warm. So it wouldn't be that. Jet says, hey, if you're throwing money around, throw some my way. Buck says, like the smash button. Thank you. All right. So anyway, this is where we're at with the Enterprise D. Now, I tested out using like a planing tool to clean this out. Oh, I'm reversed again. One moment, please. There we go. That's better. I don't know why my camera's reversing. It's got to be the camera and not the. It's got to be something in the camera software. But so I tried using a small planing tool, which is great because it keeps everything level-ish. But the problem is it takes forever. So I'm not going to deal with that. Let's see. Jet says, speaking about throwing money around, I started watching the Mr. Beast game show. I know it's off topic and I won't pursue it, but it's pretty cookie. It's pretty cookie. Okay. It's pretty cookie. There you got it. I saw that come up on Amazon Prime, but I'm sure that's something my wife might be more interested in watching than I am. But I might check it out. So this has been bent around to be the right size. We need to clean this out. Now, I'm not saying we're going to clean it out on stream because that would be something rather messy to do on stream. But here's what I'm thinking, and it's hive mind time. You know, let's get you to verify my logic to make sure that this is about right. So I've got. I need some hotkeys for to go back and forth between cameras. So I've got my Dremel here, and I've got a kind of like a hogging type bit on here, and I've got a guard on here, and I've got it probably down half the thickness of what I need for the metal piece to go inside. So what I'm thinking is that I will use this like so. I'm just going to use the existing trench here to show, to clean out as far as I can go, because there is a curve, so I can only go about yay far. But that will give me some added security, at least for the first little while, that I'm not going to go too deep into the material. That'll take care of probably about half the material on both sides that I need to remove. And then I will freehand it to remove the rest of the material. So that's what I'm thinking. So Dash says, would using a small power sander like Todd or Jordan, I want to avoid using sanding as much as possible on this for one very good reason. This is resin. So if I can use this, I'm not sure what you call this bit, but basically it takes gouges out of the material and it keeps the material in one piece. So it's almost like what you end up with are spirally little bits of it instead of dust. So I want to keep the dust down to a minimum in the shop from this, right? So if I use any sort of sanding material, that's going to create dust. And I can't do any of that work outside right now because it's winter and it's Canada and it's too cold. And so I want to try to keep the dust, the airborne particles, down to a very, very minimum. The hardest part would be the curve. Yeah, the curve. And I've got, so this is the big boy. This is the big boy, and it's got a tail on it. And then what I'm going to do, ignore the bit, ignore the piece that's on here. That'll come off. That was from some previous work. But I've got the handheld. They're both handheld. I've got the cordless, the smaller, easier to manage cordless that I'll use. I'll put the bit from here onto here, and I'll use that for getting into the curve to get the finer bits. But I figure that if I use the guard on this, as far as I can go with it, that's just going to give me some of the security. Burr, yes, a burr. Thank you. That is the word I was looking for. Let's see. Trek Mod says, in Canada, we wash our clothes in Tide. It's too cold out Tide. I'll just leave that one there. All right. I might test this out, but I will need to get power cord for it. Although this is hi Blair. I just saw that come through. Keep up the hard work. Appreciate the motivation, Andrew. Blair, well, thank you. Thank you. Blair is receiving one of these Enterprise Ds when they're completed. So, this I'm seeing a lot of red tonight. Let's see. Dash says that could work if you're able to keep it from walking, but you probably can fix mistakes. Yeah. Let's see. Jet says I wash mine in sunlight. Trek Mod says thanks, and Dash says nice Blair. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to seeing. So if the LCAR panels turn out the way that we think they are, I'm really looking forward to seeing them. And if they work out the way I think they should based on what you've described, I might need to use you as a supplier for things down the road, potentially. So, and I don't know if that's possible, but we'll be ready Tuesday. The ship won't be ready Tuesday, but I think things are going to start moving along because we're going to get into lighting and assembly here, which is awesome because it just took dealing with the windows just took forever because that's a lot of windows on those two ships. So dealing with the windows was quite time consuming. No, I'm going to use in order to use the guard, I have to use the big boy because I can actually vary how far in the burr bit goes. It's a lot harder to vary how far in this one goes, and much harder to get it because this has to be tightened down with a small little wrench. So this will be done for the handwork. This will be done for this, and let's throw caution into the wind and let's see if I can at least get this started, and let's see how this works out. All right. And before that, I will catch up on some chat. Well, not much to catch up on. Derek says, not installed until Tuesday. Yeah, that's the joke, actually. And so we'll let you behind the scenes a little bit. When I've already started working on the camera's shaking, but the image is stable. That's some really nice image stabilization on that Blackmagic design camera. I really like that. Sorry, side note, little off track there. But what was I saying? Right, when the Enterprise B arrives, so I'm going to be doing an unboxing video like I did for the Enterprise D, and I've already started taking a few shots for the intro for that unboxing video. I mean, I don't know when the Enterprise B is arriving, but I've already started taking a few shots, video shots of that, few video clips, and essentially, no matter what day of the week the kit arrives, as far as the video is concerned, it's arriving on Tuesday. So a little bit of a look behind the scenes of a video that hasn't even that's only just begun some very basic production. All right, I need to get power to this. So bear with me. Well, I don't have a bear with me right now, but bear with me for a moment while I go get an extension cable so I can plug into one of the power sources that are close by. Power source that's not on the same power supply circuit as my live streaming gear. That's kind of an important note. All right, here I am. I'm back. I've got power. So yes, just to make sure that everything is good for the stream, especially given the issue we had with the computer dying, I am not taking any risks putting too much on the same circuit that the computer and all that kind of stuff is on. I'm going to move my teacup well away, and actually I'm going to cover my cup of tea as well. Tea, Earl Grey, hot. Yeah. Grab a sip. There we go. All right. Buck says, no bear with you. What about a house hippo? Well, our house was built in '93, and I think most house hippos migrated previous to '93. So I don't think we've got that issue in our build, and no house moose either. Let's see. Blair says, anyone lock up an Excelsior from Helios? I want. Helios is still producing those, I'm pretty sure. So you should still be able to order unless Derek has, not Derek, Daniel, unless Daniel has said that they're not making anymore. I don't know. Dash says, speaking of Helios, I don't want to miss their email to me so I can pay for my Excelsior ship. Yeah. So they are producing a batch right now. So you probably won't get that until they're ready to ship out. If they're working it the same way they did with the D. Dash says, don't look, Blair. It might be scary. Okay. All right. I'm going to. I'm looking around. Where is? Hold on. I don't think this is going to kick up any dust with this bit, but let's just play it safe here. You just might not be able to hear me talk for a little while here. These things are awful with glasses on. I think I want to lower a little bit. There it is. I usually use the cordless one, so I'm always like, where are things on this one? So let's give this a little bit of a try, shall we? So what's nice, I'm not going to do the whole thing on camera, but what's nice is that it is not kicking up dust. And that's the important thing, because I don't want to be breathing that in. No way. Let's see. Buck says, what? Jet says, Luke, I am your father. Dash says, oh, the Ian gas mask is on. Ken says, now, Andrew, let's hear your best Bane impression. Let's see. Blair says, I meant Enterprise B. 1350 equals over 4 feet long. It's on my list for sure. Yeah. Yeah, so the B and the Excelsior, they're basically just doing them side by side, because there's only slight differences in those kits. So let's see. So I went down the side a little bit, the edge, and then I went in. And the area that you can see where I went in, and I've only done just a little bit of it to test this out here, but I think that's going to work quite nicely. It's just going to take some time, and that's probably about as far in as I can go with the guard on it. But even doing the sections I can with the guard is going to save me a ton of time, rather than doing the whole thing hand-holding the bit. So I think that's going to work out quite nicely. Like I said, this is not something I'm going to do on stream, because I'm not really able to talk much while I'm on stream, while I'm doing this. And I will have the respirator mask on while I'm doing it. So yeah, not what I am planning on doing for the rest of the stream. But I just wanted to test that, make sure that's going to work properly. And it looks like that's going to be the ticket on that one. So, yeah. Let's see. Dash says, another thing might be to start in the middle and work your way out to the edges so you have a ledge to set your guard on. Okay. Although yeah, that might be good to do. I could see that. Ken says, does the area you are carving out have details on it, or is it smooth? It is smooth. It is smooth. All the details will be painted. It does not have any raised ridges that have to be sanded off. Plus, there is the cover area that goes here, so that will go a long way to making the job of smoothing that out so much easier. Yeah. So that's gonna be very helpful in the process. Also, might want to the uprights first before the main body of it. You mean you think I should do the curved portions first before I deal with the main section. My reasoning for maybe wanting to do the main section here first is just because with the guard, I've got more control over the depth, and that's a good kind of indicator as I work my way out. But I mean, it could be beneficial to do it the other way. I'm not committing to a specific method tonight. I just wanted to make sure that that worked and that we're good to go on that. Like I said, I am not doing that work. I'm not doing all of that work on camera. All right. Okay. There we go. The other thing I need to sort out very soon is how I'm getting the lighting in the tail fan, because unlike Phil and Lou, I am going to put both the upper and the lower. Oh, I'm leaving chat on the screen. Again, a service I provide free of charge. I'm going to be putting the lights top and bottom the way that they appear on the studio model. So we want to make sure that that those are we're able to get the wiring and the LEDs through there. I'm going to be using the 0402 SMDs on this section. Basically, any of the navigation lights are getting the 0402 SMDs, and they're going to be controlled. Well, these ones are constant on, so they'll just be on when power's on. But there are flashers that are going to be controlled by the inner light system with the expansion board that I have for that. So it's basically going to be able to control those dumb LEDs just as if they are the addressable smart LEDs. So that's cool. All right. So let's, unless Blair, if you have any other questions on the Enterprise D right now, I can address those. If not, I'm going to switch gears back over to the Enterprise E for a little bit. I'll wait to see what Blair says. Blair says, no, give her buddy. Okay. Let's see. Just long for the ride. Cool. Dash says, well, to avoid snapping it after removing the lot of it, just from a woodworker's perspective is all. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll go through and I'll just remove the majority of that area, and then I'll do the depth with the guard, and then that way I can actually insert the piece of metal. I can't actually insert the metal right now because there's resin in the way where the metal belongs, so it actually won't sit down perfectly until that resin is out of the way. So yeah, maybe I can go through here and just deal with this part first and not go at full depth with it until then I've cleared out this area. So that's possible too. Like I said, I'll do that off camera. It's just a bit of a smarter thing to do. You can see behind me though, the let me do this. So behind me is a lower section of the 650 Enterprise D. Let me get that chat out of the way. So that is one of the lower sections, and it is I've had to reattach it to the metal armature. So the first time I attached it, I must not have gotten it clamped down enough, because the epoxy created a gap in there that meant that it was too thick. The sensor band would have ended up being way too thick. So I cleaned it all out and I've redone that. So hopefully that's going to look a lot better. It might take a few goes to get that plate attached perfectly to the secondary hull, just because the plate might not sit exactly the same way as the kit part. So you really do have to clamp those down really tight so that they are drawn to each other and end up both being level once you get that done. So just a little bit of work to get that to work properly there. So throw this aside. And grab this. And let me get this positioned a little bit. And we will bring this back over. And I'm going to grab my tea again. Tea, Earl Grey, hot. I would grab that as an audio clip to play, but I don't want to risk YouTube getting upset with me if I'm using stuff that's taken from an actual TV show on my stream. So, all right, what is next? What can we get done next? Well, let me grab the I was going to say the plans, but the instructions for the masking set. And these are the sections that we are working on currently. And like I said, I'm not using these masks here because it didn't give allowance for the escape pods. Now, I'm assuming that the intention is that you just put the escape pods over top of the gray, and that's fine, which is fine, but I would rather have the base color underneath there. So I decided to do that separately. Now, do we have full access to these other panels? Whoa, 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 buddy. What's going on tonight? Ken, he says, get yourself some Picard teacups. Oh, my good gravy. Thank you, Ken. You are incredibly generous, and I will do that. I will order the Picard teacup set to have on stream. Thank you, Ken. Oh, my good gravy. YouTube's going to wonder what's happened tonight. Ay, 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 ay. Ah. And Blair says, what a gentleman. Good on you, Ken. Yeah, well, thank you, Ken. I appreciate that. I will order the teacups, and I will get them in. I've been looking at those things, and I've been considering it, but it's one of those things where it'd be nice to have as kind of a thing for my live streams and videos and stuff like that. But it's one of those things like, is it really, like, do I really need them? So, but I will order those. Thank you, Ken. All right. So I think what I'm going to do is try. Now, these are pinstripes, but they're not the pieces. Okay, let me see if I can explain my thought here. The pieces that we have already placed on, and I've placed these on top. Let me backtrack in the instructions here. So these sections that were masks are, beep, let me try that again. These sections that are masks from the mask set all have very, very narrow, especially the outer rings here. They all have they're long and narrow pieces because these are long and narrow sections. Especially like this front one here. This front one is actually the one that I messed up first. It is very long, very narrow, and on a curve. And to get that placed down perfectly is difficult. We'll just say that it's difficult. But what I'm thinking, as I move my way back here, these are they're a little bit more chunkier. They're not as long, stretched out, and narrow. I mean, these ones here are, but like you've got these ones back here that aren't quite so stretched out and narrow. So I'm thinking I'm gonna look at the masks and I'm gonna look at the kit parts, because if I do that, then what I need to do is I need to mask off, and which is what I would do tonight, is mask off the outline around. Talking is difficult. I will have to mask around these raised panels, and then they will get the a medium and light gray depending on the panel. They will get a medium and light gray paint, and then the mask will go on, and then base coat or insignia white will go on there. This is close. So anytime that I'm painting the small details, I'm just using the straight insignia white. The base coat isn't insignia white. It's a little bit of a cooler. It's almost insignia white, but it's a little bit cooler. And it's a custom mix. So if I am just spraying some touch-up or something like that, or just not touch-up is not what I meant, because I need to use the actual base color for the touch-up. But if I'm just doing the pinstriping, spraying on for pinstriping, then what I will do is I will I'll use just the straight insignia white. That way I'm saving my my custom mixed base coat for where it's absolutely necessary. Ken says, think of me at least once fondly while you enjoy your tea. Yes, well, and while I'm building the Enterprise B, right? Let's see. Dash says, Ken, get out of my head. I was just thinking we need to get him some Picard cups. Yeah, I've been eyeing those up for. Well, actually, I've been kind of wanting those for quite some time before I knew where they were available. But since they've become available through Master Replicas, I've kind of been eyeing them up. But yeah. All right, so these masks. Let me pull the next. These masks are all on sheet number 2. So let me go grab sheet number 2. We'll look at the masks. We'll see what we think and go from there. Actually, I've got sheet number 2 just on the desk beside me here. So you can kind of see the cutouts on here. Let me bring it up a little bit closer. Let me grab my pointer. So these are the ones that we're not using from here that I've already masked off in the 3M blue. And actually, let me orientate this to the same orientation as the ship is right now. So we've got this piece probably goes back here. I'll have to look. But that will not be done until these are done. But we've got, let me try to get this in. This piece goes here. And like I said, it's a little chunkier. So we might actually have some success laying these down. So again, I want to try to use the masking set as much as possible on this build. These ones are similar. This one goes back here. This little rectangle piece, I'm just realizing that you're not seeing on the ship where it is I'm talking about. So let me get my face out of the way here. All right, let's try this again. So this panel here goes on this panel here. This piece here, we tilt it so you can see it in the light, goes back here. This little rectangular piece is kind of like where you would walk out. Say the saucer section crashed on a planet and you were walking out of the ship, you'd just walk along this walkway here. Or I guess Worf, Picard, and what's his name? The helmsman. I'm blanking on his name right now. Hawk, Lieutenant Hawk. When they walked out to go underneath, I'm sure they probably walked out of these ports here, walked along, and then went over the edge. And then we've got this. This one could be problematic. And I also will want to take a good look at the at how straight those pinstripes are cut on them. But that piece will go along here. And then we've got this piece. I got this piece will go here. And then we've got the two flanking pieces here. So those are essentially the areas that we're looking at. All right. So let me see. I mean, they look, the pinstripes on the chunkier spots look good. So let's go for that. But before we can actually lay down the vinyl, I need to tape off with tape first. And I think, no promises, but I think I kept these panels clear of the tape above. I mean, ultimately, looking at it kind of like this direction here, it looks like all those panels have remained clear. So I should be able to tape those off. Now, what I'm curious about is what color. Let me see. I hope you can see it. So this panel here comes straight down, and then it breaks off into these smaller little chunks. So let me pull up the right. And I had all this set up and ready to go until the computer shut down on me. So please hold. Please stand by while we complete your long distance call. To avoid this message, dial 1 in front of a 10-digit long distance number. Thank you. Where am I looking? My documents. That's a good place to start. Enterprise E. Reference photo, studio model. Let's pull these up and it's behind me. It's on the screen behind me. So I got to pull that over. And let me see. We're gonna go through the studio pictures here. And we're gonna this is the bottom of the secondary hall here. So let's kind of page through that one is this picture. I'm not sure where this picture was taken. It's a lot grainier than any of the other pictures that I have. That looks a little wobbly in there. I don't think they got their pinstripes quite straight. Shame on them. Let's see. I'm looking for the back area. So I should really reorganize these pictures so that when I'm scrolling through them, they don't jump all over. So like similar area pictures are grouped together. That would probably be a smart thing to do. Come on, we need to have some good pictures of that area. Close, but no cigar. So, okay. So we've got these sections here. So those are very likely the same. I mean, it's hard to tell because there's so little of it here. But I'm going to say that these kind of little bits are likely the same color as this gray here. It's hard to see in the California sun, but I'm going to say those are probably the same color. So we're going to assume, for the ease of getting this done, we're going to assume that these are the same color, and we're going to mask those off as well. So we're going to use them. So just to recap, we're going to do our very best to use the provided masks from the mask design set to do those set panels behind the bridge area. But before we can use those, we have to actually mask off those panels so that we can put the gray color down. Because the way that these masks are working, you have to put the gray color on first, then you paint, you take off the pinstripes and you take off the little bits, and then you paint the your base color back on, and that's how these masks work. So let's spend the last portion of the stream working on that, shall we? So I just need to reorganize here slightly. I need to put this stuff away. I need to get the other cutting mat over here so I can cut the thin pieces of tape I'm going to need to put on. So just hold on for one moment while I reorganize a little bit. And I'm going to get a little bit more tea, Earl Grey, hot. Not quite as easy as going to the replicator, but I just brought a teapot with me. And Buck says, chat amongst ourselves. Yes. All right, here we go. All right. So we are doing, I need to see if there's some additional photos. Okay, here's another shot. I'll send it over to the screen. So here's another shot here that shows these panels back here. So they're the same. These panels back here are the same color as the ones up top that are currently masked off with blue tape. And on the side, which you can't see here. So these ones back behind the, either side of the phaser array are the same color as the ones on the top and the narrower ones on the side. The ones that are very different and very light are the ones in the middle. So we will deal with those separately. Let's see. Ken says something here. Hey, Andrew, do you know how many in-universe years they ran the Enterprise A for? I don't know. I don't know how long they ran it as the Enterprise A. It was formerly the Yorktown. And when they did the refit, my understanding is that when they refit the Yorktown, and they were it was around the time that the Enterprise A was the refit Enterprise was destroyed and all that whale stuff was going on. They were finishing the refit on the Yorktown when the Enterprise crew ended up not having a ship and they were putting them back on. What they did was they took the Yorktown and rechristened it as the Enterprise A. So the Enterprise A, my understanding, was not a brand new ship when Kirk said, let's see what she's got. And they warp off at the end of Star Trek 4. It was a refit of a pre-existing Constitution class. So I don't know how long previously she was in service as the Yorktown. And then there's nothing, as far as I know, in canon that tells us exactly. But we can assume that it was decommissioned at the end of the Undiscovered Countries. So we just have to find out what year in the timeline the Undiscovered Country fell, which I don't know off the top of my head. And as it was already decommissioned by the time Generations came around and they were doing the tour of the brand new Enterprise B. So that's my understanding, but I don't know exactly how long. It would probably be easier to figure out how long she was christened as the Enterprise A versus how long the ship was in service for. All right. And we're going to have some fiddly bits to deal with here. Yeah. We're going to have some fiddly bits. I need to Buck says, according to Memory Alpha, it was 7 years from 2286 through 2293. Google is my friend. Yeah. And I've got the wrong screen back up again here, folks. Just one moment, please. There we go. That's better. You're going to actually be able to see what I'm talking about. Yeah. So as far as I understand, so the ship wasn't around for just that long. It had a long service before it became the Enterprise A, kind of like how the Titan A was the Titan A before it was rechristened as the Enterprise G. Same kind of a deal. The interesting thing about the Titan is that it seems that when they built the Titan A, they ended up taking systems from Riker's Titan. I guess the in-universe explanation is that they were scarce on those resources for creating new ships after the Dominion War, and they were trying to rebuild the fleet. And so as they were, putting older ships out of commission to replace them with newer ships, a lot of times they were taking the computer systems and different functions and stuff like that and basically upcycling them from one to the other. Hence why you have all of Riker's JADs in the database of the Titan A. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then some of the guys that do, I'm not sure if it was John Eves or Doug Drexler, one of those guys, but one of those guys did some artwork of the Titan A being constructed with the Luna class Titan, which I really like the Luna class. Again, those ships with the lower nacelles, I really like those. So I really like the Luna class. I really like the Akira class. I'd like to find a good quality lightable Luna class to go at the same scale as the Akira class that I have on the ship. That would be pretty cool. Anyway, side tracks, right? Side tracks. Let's get some tape. And yeah, we're gonna hopefully I get this cut the right size the first time tonight. Kind of just eyeballing it here. Oh. Something went wrong. Or did it? Nope. It actually worked out exactly the way it was supposed to be working out. It was an end user issue. So what I'm doing, I will try to explain what I'm doing as I'm doing it here. So the hardest part and the trickiest part, and I can't see anything on chat right now because I don't have my glasses on, but the trickiest little bit in doing this masking work, I can't even see where my little point, here it is, where my pointer was. So there is a raise. Let me get my glasses on. Let me turn my face off here for a minute. Let me zoom the camera in here a little bit. Why is... I'm having some trouble. Okay. Here, have a look at this ship for a moment while I make an adjustment. Haha. So the issue I'm having zooming in right now is actually a result of that shutdown that happened earlier on in the stream. It needed a password to reconnect to the computer properly. So we're still dealing. Let's see. We are still dealing with the ramifications of that random shutdown we had earlier. So yeah, I have no idea what was going on there. All right, so let me get this centered on screen for you here. And I'll bring it on back. And I'll turn my face back on in the corner there. So this gives you a little bit of a more up close. Don't look too closely at the paint job around here being zoomed in. You're never supposed to see it this blown up. Although I will note, when you look really, really closely, you can see that it's paint, and you can see the varying layers of paint. When the clear coats go on this, that will get smoothed out significantly as the clear coat will settle into the lower sections, and it'll all level, and so it'll look so much better. I mean, it looks pretty cool. If I'm looking at it, even like 6 inches away, it looks really cool on here. But once the clear coat goes on, it really blends all those paint layers together. So the clear coat is really your friend on that. Also, the camera does hide some of the imperfections, but you can see, just to show you a couple of the imperfections on the paint job, since we are zoomed in so close here. It's very difficult to get the pinstripes to work properly where the tape joins. So there are some points here where I may want to go through and just tape those off and just give a touch of the base coat. And I might even do that with a brush. So I might just tape it off and then touch up with brush. So I'll do like a pass on this once it's all done, where I'm just going through and I'm trying to deal with some of those minor touch-ups. So that certainly will be something that I work on. But let's move aft here. And I'm going to be working on starting with this little trench here. So these are raised panels, and then you've got it right up close to the windows here. But then there's this gully in here. So that gully has to be, that gully and these depressed areas all have to be independently masked off before we paint that. So I'm going to start with the trickiest bit, which is getting the trench in here masked and getting these windows masked because of the curves and stuff like that. So that's the trickiest bit. Let's see. Buck says, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Exactly. Brian, Dogman D. Daniels is here. Welcome to the stream. He says, hi, everyone. Welcome. We are working on a 1400 scale Enterprise E right now. We've already been looking at the 650D and the pylons because we are putting some metal in the pylons of that thing so that they are solid and don't go anywhere. And now we're getting some tape laid down on the masking here. I am doing a combination of my own masking and using the Mask Design masking set from Mask Design. There are some areas where I've chosen to do masking myself for a plethora of different reasons. That's plethora. That's a good word. Always find an excuse to use the word plethora. You can find a plethora of excuses to use that word if you think about it. But what was I saying? I got focused on plethora. I kind of forget. Oh well. So we're just going to slowly work this around the corner. The corner on these bits are the tricky bits to get masked off. And again, whenever we are doing high detail masking work, we have to work small to large. So we have to start with really small masking, and then we gradually work our way back from the precision masked area to the rough masked area, and the masking tape gradually gets bigger and bigger as you work your way back. Yeah. I'm grasping at tools without my glasses on. I really need to get bifocals, progressive bifocals. All right, I've got that worked around the docking port airlock thing. There we go. I could have stood to make this strip of tape just a wee bit thicker, but that would also make it that much harder to get it around the corners the way I need to here. In one moment, I'll put my glasses on and take a look at the chat. All right. Progressive rather than bifocals, best of both worlds with no lines. Yeah, so what? I'm not a doctor. I don't know these things. Whatever they're called, the ones where it's got the two prescriptions, but you can't tell that there's two prescriptions in it, right? So where I look down and I'm looking through the up close prescription and then I'm looking out to the far prescription. Without these glasses, I can't, like, I am literally maybe for you Americans out there, I'm probably about 18 inches away from my screen right now, and I can't read a single thing on it. I can tell where things are basically on the screen, but I can't even see the CS in the corner of my Canadian Starships logo on a window that's about this big of the video feed. So I can't see a thing more than like this far away from my face without my glasses on. So I have to wear them, but then I have to take them off right now in order to do all the close-up work. It's quite frustrating right now, and hopefully that is something that gets resolved. All right, I'm gonna throw. Where did I throw that tape? I'm gonna put another piece of the same because it's a wee bit. Oh, I'm leaving chat on the screen. Sorry, guys. Just a service I provide. Let's see. Buck says that's them. Buck also says, but you have to get used to a smaller area for viewing focused mainly in front. Yeah. I don't like getting new prescriptions, and my eyes have been fairly stable since high school. My prescription for distance hasn't changed very much since I was in high school. So the last time they changed significantly, I was in high school, and it was probably around 97 or so. I graduated in 99. We had grade 13. So if you're doing math, take that into account. But my eyes have stayed fairly stable since. Essentially, my eyes changed as I grew. Now, I didn't grow much. I'm only 5'4", but as I grew, my eyes changed. And they've been fairly stable. And it's just in the last little while that the up-close vision has been a problem. And only with my glasses on. So I can see perfectly fine up close without my glasses. But with my glasses, I can't see a thing up close anymore. So that's my dilemma. So I definitely need to get whatever Buck said I need to get. There we go. Oh. A lot of this fiddly masking work is literally shoving the tape in place with the toothpick. I'm trying to do this so that I can keep it fairly zoomed in for you and in frame so that you can see what I'm doing. I apologize ahead of time for when I get this out of frame and I don't notice. If I had a producer tonight, then they'd tell me if I got it out of frame. But it is what it is, and we will make do. I've got to say, a lot of people find this work too fiddly, too stressful, too whatever. But but I find this work really, really relaxing. Let's see. Christopher Moland, welcome to the screen. I'd need a telescope to do what you're doing. Well, I'm really happy that I can still see everything perfectly clear up close. It does help with those windows. Blair asks, do you solar res the windows on the E? No, I don't. What I do, so the solar res is great for windows on the Enterprise D because they're the right size for taking it. I would do I would pre-solar res the windows on the 350 refit and the 350 TOS. I'd probably do it on the 350 NX01 as well, and all those are kind of behind me there. Anything that is of a good size. Also, let me just move this here. I've removed the masks on the front windows here, and those were resined in ahead of time and then masked. So I cleared out a larger section and then I masked those off, along with, I don't know if you'd be able to tell. Oh, you can kind of see them. You can see them here. There are missing windows here. And so what I did was I cleaned out the area. Like I opened up the full area where these windows are, and then I masked them off and then painted. I've done it a couple different ways now, and this I think is the better way to do it than what I did just opening up the spaces without the guides of the depressions for the windows. So I will solar res the larger windows, but I will not solar res these ones. They are just far too small because then I'd have to deal with masking them. And the issue that I have masking the windows at this size is that there's not a whole lot of adhesive on those tiny pieces of vinyl to stick to the windows. So what I do with these is I fill them with microcrystal clear once the entire thing is painted and clear coated. So they will receive, and you can fill these from the outside using the microcrystal clear. Now, microcrystal clear will shrink a little bit when it dries. So you just have to pay attention that you don't have any openings happening because you didn't get enough microcrystal clear put in. So you press the microcrystal clear in, you wipe it clear on the surface. That's why you want to clear coat it first, because you won't damage your paint when you're wiping the microcrystal clear off the surface and get it really nice and clean. But once you've done that and it's dried clear, you want to go over, like you want to look at all the windows again and touch up any windows where there's too much of a dimple, because they will dimple. There's nothing you can do about that. But if they dimple too much, or if they shrink to the point where it opens up a hole, you want to go through and refill those. So that's what I do on this size of windows. Same with the 1400 Enterprise D. Those will get microcrystal clear once the job is done. Buck says, my last pair were good for 5 years until Oliver the dog got a hold of them. Well, that'll do it. Trek Mod says, I had an eye appointment a couple weeks ago. Thankfully, glasses are covered by ODSP. Unfortunately, my glasses are out of pocket. 500, 700 for glasses sucks out loud. Yeah. So we have my benefits for, okay, let me first explain. The way our medical coverage here works in Canada is that all of our medical needs, as far as doctor's appointments, procedures, surgeries, any medication that is required while you're in hospital, anything like that is covered by our government provided health coverage, which is administered by the provinces and share funded between the federal government and the provinces. But dental care, pretty much, although there are some exceptions to that now because they have rolled out some universal dental care for seniors, children, etc. But dental care, things like chiropractors, eye exams, glasses, pharmaceuticals, all that kind of stuff is not covered. There is some work towards getting a pharmaceutical plan in place, but that's where your work benefits would cover. And so my work benefits cover prescriptions and dentists and all that kind of stuff, but it doesn't cover eyewear. But with our coverage, mine particularly, we have a slush fund, a spending fund. So glasses, because glasses are expensive, and you need them, that kind of thing comes out of the spending account. But yeah, so not everything in Canada is covered. That could be a myth. But not everything is covered. But oftentimes you'll have supplemental care through an employer, or if you're self-employed, you would have you can get supplemental coverage for that stuff. So not everything's covered, but we don't pay for surgeries. We don't pay for like, you'll never go bankrupt if you have a cancer diagnosis or something like that. Let's see. Trekmod says dentures are $6,000. Sorry, these are all mine. I'm not there yet. So I don't know, but I'm not sure what category that type of thing would be covered by. I'm fortunate. I never had to have braces, so these teeth are all natural. But I'm pretty sure at least one of my kids is going to need braces. So I escaped that myself. I don't think my kids, at least one of my kids, is gonna escape that. So we might be jumping down that journey in a couple years, I think. So, yeah. All right, let's get back to masking here. These live streams do take side jaunts from time to time, don't they? All right, just looking to get this cleaned up. Aligned up with the camera. So I've got the trench here filled in. Now, what I think I'm going to do before I deal with these windows, because getting these windows, just like these windows were difficult, and you can see that it's multiple pieces of tape in order to cover that properly. It's going to take the same thing because of the curves, and there's not much area to grab hold of before it has to curve. So also, I can't use the delicate tape for this stuff. I've got the delicate tape, which I will use for the overall masking to prevent overspray, but I can't use that for the precise work because it doesn't quite have the grip that's necessary. I found that the 3M blue painter's tape is pretty much ideal for this type of work. So let's see. Brian said, if I can find my mouse here, Brian says, I get my glasses and hearing aids from the VA. So I'm assuming that's veterans something or other in the U.S. That's what I'm going to assume. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to assume. Todd is here. Welcome, Todd. Welcome to the stream. It's been a good stream so far. We looked at how I'm cleaning out the area to put the aluminum piece in for the pylons on the Enterprise D. And we looked at the work that's been done, and I am continuing to do some work in masking. So welcome to the stream. All right. So let's find my thin piece of tape here and get this laid down in place. Although I think we're going to need a slightly thinner piece, because I did this piece I cut was cut for that trench, and although this end of it might be okay. Toothpick. It might be good. Let's see if I can. No, I'm going to have to cut it. I can't quite make the corner. These ones are a little tricky to get them cut correctly. I just have to do it and hope for the best. But there we go. Let's see. Okay, just everybody's saying hi to Todd. Brian says Veterans Administration. Got it. I knew it had to be Veterans something that starts with an A, but I'm not an American, so I don't know. William Nelson is here. Welcome, William, to the stream. And everybody's just saying hello to everybody. That's great. Trying my best to remember to keep this on screen for you. But when it's zoomed in this much, it's hard to make sure that it's, forget center, just making sure that it's actually on screen is fun enough. Get that chopped. Get that perfectly placed in there. All right, next little bit. At some point here, this piece is going to become too wide to use. But we'll use it until it's unusable. I'm seeing color on my screen. Todd says, put some tea, Earl Grey, hot in those cups. I really should have a tea, Earl Grey hot audio cue or something. I'm just paranoid of putting like studio produced audio on my streams. But thank you, Todd. Which reminds me, I need to refill my tea, Earl Grey hot, because my cup is getting empty. There we go. So what are you up to tonight, Todd? Conversely, what is everybody up to tonight? What are you guys working on while you're watching me put tiny pieces of tape down on a model? What are you guys all up to? Apparently tonight is Super Chat Central on Canadian Starship stream. It's crazy. So, okay. I don't know. I'll have to look here. Apparently Todd is driving to get some dinner. All right. So the problem with cutting it, because I have to use the scissors, I can't use the X-Acto blade to do it. I cut this one just a wee bit too short, which now means I'm going to have to insert a tiny piece into there to make up the difference. So I'm going to cut off a tiny piece. Tweezers. Now, Todd was talking about ceramic tipped tweezers. Is there any benefit to that over standard type of tweezers? I haven't worked with them before, and I'm curious what the benefits are. There we go. So that's just patched that little bit up so that we don't get the gray into that groove. Ken says, I'm just enjoying the show and the company. Well, that's very kind, Ken. Christopher Mullen says, started an X-Wing building a base for my Oberth. Very cool. Buck said, started on the Muskoge's Bay Lobster Smack group build on Ola's channel. She is a YouTuber that does wooden ships. Very cool. Todd says they don't grab as well, but great for delicate things like decals. Okay, cool. I'll have to check them out because I do a decal from time to time. Not wallpaper decals, but I do a decal. And there's going to be some tiny decals on this. I wonder. I was just thinking if I could find my decal file for this, but I don't know. It might be on the old computer. Let's see. Jet says 1, heat resistant, 2, non-conductive, 3, non-magnetic, 4, chemically resistant, 5, stretch free, handling, 6, precise and rigid tips. Cool. Good to know. Like I said, I might need to. Oh, that's off screen. I might need to look into it a little closer. Go. Hopefully I cut that one to the correct length. Looks like I did. Perfect. There we go. I might be using the wrong end there. Nope. I think this is just getting a wee bit too wide. There we go. All right. That's one down. Let's see if I can get this section in here. I really should have laid this down the other way. Would have made cutting it to length a little easier. I think I need to scooch the end of this over just a little bit. There we go. Push that down. No. I'm not liking how that's sitting down. I'm going to pull it. I'm going to cut a fresh piece. And I'll get caught up on the chat while I'm doing that. Let's see. TrekMod says, same thing I'll be working on forever. Excelsior. Excelsior! Todd says, gotta run. Have a great stream. Hit that like button. Thanks, Todd, for stopping by. Ken says, take care, Todd. All right. Time to cut another piece. And I find little blue pieces of tape attached to me all the time when I'm in this stage of things. Yeah, I'm zoomed in too much for you to be able to see me cutting the tape there, but I'm sure the placement of it's of more interest than the cutting of it. So I'm going to switch this around. No, why did I do that? I need to switch around this way. Lay it down like that. And then snip that off. There we go. Need to do this area here. Looks like I've got a little bit more work to do on that seam there. Joy. Sometimes if you've got just a wee bit too much cut, you can actually just tuck that down the rest of the way. The whole long piece won't reposition that way very easily, but you can kind of reposition a small piece down the next direction. How's it going? It's Jeremiah, by the way. Hello, Jeremiah. How are you doing tonight? All right. Let's get that down there. Is that long enough? Yep. Perfect. And yes, I know which Jeremiah you are. There we go. Get that in there. And again, hopefully that's not too short. If it was on the other side. Oh, just long enough. And my hands are probably in the way of the camera. My apologies. Doing this work, there's not really any way around that. That was cut way too long. Let's see if I can just scooch that around the corner. Jeremiah says he's doing good. And yourself? Oh, I'm doing well. Dennis is here. He says, I admire your patience in masking. Yeah, like I said, I find it quite relaxing, actually. I find doing this work relaxing. I mean, sometimes I wish it would go a little bit faster, but I also find opening up the windows quite relaxing too. not want to sit down well. It might be because of the piece that's in there. But I think I got it. Think I got it. There we go. Just so that you're aware, this is work that you would need to do whether you're using the masking set or not. So I am using the masking set for these sections, or at least I'm going to attempt to use the masking set for these sections. Well, that's a tongue twister to say. But this is just a job that you've got to do either way. There we go. Now, let's do this trench. I need the toothpick for this. Lay that down in there. And you wouldn't necessarily have to do the pinstripe masking here if these panels weren't raised with these gullies here. But if you did larger pieces of tape just up to it, it actually would allow paint to get into those gullies, and then it wouldn't look as clean as it should. So this is just a really good idea to get the narrow pieces right down in the gully. That way you're sure that no paint is going to get down in those sections. Go. It's going down a little easier than I expected it to, so that's good. Flip her around here. Make sure I've got this thin piece sticky side down. So really the only, should I say, skill you really need to pull this off is the patience to do it. That's the biggest thing that you need in order to be able to do this type of masking. You just need the patience to do it. All right. This edge I can do with some wider gauge tape. Let's get the walkouts from the airlocks done. These little trenches here. And I can allow it to overlap these panels here because these are separate panels that we'll deal with at a later time. Toothpick. Toothpick. Found it. that traveled a little bit. Let's get the toothpick so we can anchor it down. So the tape does not travel when I move the tweezers. There we go. Oh, wow. I just looked at the clock. Let me get the other side done here and use up this tape I've got that I just set down and not sure which one it is. Although it looks like this could use a slight repositioning over here. Okay. We'll get these two last pieces down, and then I'm going to call it a night. I do need to get some sleep before morning comes. There we go. All right. And that's all I'm going to get done tonight. There we are. Let me put this aside. I'll put it up on the bench here. Space begins to be at a bit of a premium once you've got multiple projects on the go, especially projects the size of what's going on in the shop right now. So here, let's get quickly caught up on the chat. Ken says, looking really good, Andrew. Thank you, Ken. Christopher says, good night, everyone. Great work. Buck says, great stream, Andrew. Thank you. And also says, good night, everyone. Ken says, thanks, Andrew. Thanks for the show, Andrew. Take care, everyone, and have a good night. So yeah, thank you everyone for stopping by the stream. I hope that you've enjoyed the stream. If you did, make sure that you hit that like button if you're new to my channel or you haven't done so yet. Hit the subscribe button today. You'll make me very happy if you do. But for now, my name is Andrew, and this is Canadian Starships. Have a great night, everyone.